December 18th, 2023. A federal courtroom in New York. A man in a gray suit stands before the judge. His hands are clasped behind his back. His head is bowed, just slightly. His name is Trevor Milton. And 3 years ago, this man was worth more than the entire Ford Motor Company. 3 years ago, he was on magazine covers. The next Elon Musk. That's what they called him. Now, he's about to learn how many years of his life belong to the federal prison system. But to understand how he got here, how a man who never sold a single real product became a billionaire overnight, we have to go back. December 2016. Salt Lake City, Utah.
A massive convention stage. Fog machines.
Dramatic lighting. The energy in the room. Electric. Trevor Milton walks to the podium. He's 34 years old. Dark suit. Perfect smile. The confidence of a man who knows he's about to change the world. Behind him, a huge black silk sheet covers something enormous. He speaks into the microphone. What if I told you the future of trucking doesn't need diesel? It doesn't need a charging station every 200 miles. It needs nothing but hydrogen and a dream. The sheet drops, and there it is. The Nikola one. A massive semi-truck. Sleek like a spaceship, silent like a ghost. It looks like something out of a science fiction film. The crowd erupts, and in that moment, Trevor Milton becomes a legend. But what nobody in that room knows, what nobody will know for years, is that the Nikola One has never driven a single mile under its own power. The market doesn't wait for the truth. In the months after the reveal, Nikola Motors explodes. Investors pour in billions of dollars. The stock price climbs like a rocket. In June of 2020, just 3.5 years after that unveiling, Nikola goes public on the Nasdaq. The valuation hits $30 billion. 30 billion. This company that has never mass-produced a single vehicle is now worth more than Ford. Trevor Milton, on paper, is worth nearly $9 billion personally. He buys a $32 million ranch in Utah. Private jets. A lifestyle that would make actual titans of industry blush. And the entire time, the Nikola One is just a shell. A beautiful, expensive billion-dollar lie rolling downhill. Because here's what actually happened with that revolutionary truck. That massive semi-truck on stage, the one that looked like it could drive across the country on nothing but water, it was never operational. But Trevor needed a commercial. He needed footage of the Nikola One driving down a highway. Looking powerful, looking real, looking like the future. So his team came up with a solution. They towed the truck to the top of a long, gentle slope in the Utah desert. And then they let it roll. Just gravity.
No hydrogen.
No engine. No revolutionary technology. Just a very expensive paperweight. Rolling downhill. They filmed it from the perfect angles. Added dramatic music. And released it to the world as proof that the Nikola One was real. Trevor Milton wasn't selling technology. He was selling an illusion. But rolling downhill only works for so long. Behind the scenes, Nikola was a house of cards held together by deception. They claimed they had billions in pre-orders from major corporations. The orders were fake, non-binding agreements with no actual companies behind them. They claimed they had revolutionary hydrogen technology. They didn't. They claimed they were producing their own batteries at a fraction of the market cost. Another lie. General Motors announced a $2 billion partnership with Nikola, believing every word. And Trevor kept smiling, kept posting on social media, kept calling his critics haters and short sellers who just don't understand the vision. But there was someone watching, someone who understood perfectly. September 2020. A small research firm called Hindenburg Research, named after the famous airship that went down in flames, publishes a report. 67 pages long. The title, Nikola. How to parlay an ocean of lies into a partnership with the largest auto company in America. The report lays out everything. The fake orders, the non-existent technology, and most devastating of all, the video, the truck rolling downhill. Hindenburg had found the original footage. They analyzed the angle of the road, They proved mathematically that the truck was not driving, it was coasting. Gravity, the one thing Trevor Milton couldn't lie to. The market's reaction was instant and brutal. Nikola's stock price collapsed. $30 billion in market value evaporated in a matter of days. GM pulled out of the deal. The SEC opened an investigation. Then the Department of Justice followed. Trevor Milton resigned in disgrace. But the real victims, the real human cost of this fraud, they weren't the big banks or the institutional investors. They were ordinary people. A retired teacher in Ohio who put her entire pension into Nikola stock because she believed in the clean energy future Trevor promised. She lost $140,000, every cent she had saved for 35 years. A young couple in Arizona who invested their wedding savings, believing they were betting on the next Tesla. They lost $48,000. The wedding never happened. A 67-year-old factory worker who put his life savings into the stock and watched it vanish in 48 hours. These are the faces that don't appear in the financial news. These are the people Trevor Milton never thought about while he was buying his $32 million ranch. December 2022. Trevor Milton stands trial in federal court. The charges: 2 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of securities fraud. The evidence is overwhelming. Emails, internal documents, testimony from former employees who had tried to warn him. The jury deliberates for only 5 hours. Guilty on all counts. And 1 year later, December 2023, Trevor Milton stands before a judge for the final time. The sentence: 4 years in federal prison, $160 million in fines and restitution. The man who was once worth $9 billion. The man who was called the Next Elon Musk. The man who built a $30 billion empire on nothing but a truck rolling downhill, will spend the next 4 years in a cell. Here's the thing about gravity, though. Gravity isn't just a physical force. Gravity is the weight of every lie you've ever told, pulling you back to earth. Trevor Milton thought he could roll downhill forever. He thought he was too smart, too fast, too famous to fail. He forgot that eventually, the road levels out, and when it does, everything you built on deception, everything you constructed on the trust of people who believed in you, everything comes crashing down. In the financial markets, in the courtroom, in life itself, karma remains completely undefeated. This has been Financial Karma, and if this story moved you, subscribe to Karma Unleashed. Every episode we follow the money and the consequences that never stop arriving. Next episode, another name, another empire, another fall. The history of financial karma is far from over. Subscribe, and we will see you on the other side.